What the muck is up, guys? Just so you guys know, I'm actually doing a video today on all my Gen 1 shiny Pokemon. So I'm going to be throwing them all out of the Pokeballs. Here we go. And that, guys, is just the beginning. So, guys, just so you have a little bit of insight about me and who I am, I actually started shiny hunting 2 years ago. It was actually at the end of August 30th. And how I wound up getting hooked with shiny hunting was because, believe it or not, Caterpie, the one that's in the 4th Pokeball, I found him randomly, and I sat there for a minute and I was like, what is this? I've always heard of shinies, but I never really looked into what they were because I didn't care. And what wound up happening was, when he sprung up and he shined for me, it caught me off guard, and I was like, oh, I'm totally going to catch this thing. And I caught it, and I realized what it was, so I looked into it more. And then after that fact, I just kind of got hooked with the whole entire thing, because I actually really enjoyed how cool it looked, and just from that alone, really what caught my attention. And specifically, this little guy right here. I actually found him in Pokemon X, and it's where it all started. So now, this is where the story really begins and gets a little interesting. So after running into that Pokemon, I started to do a little bit of research. And I really started to look into, actually shiny hunting. So with that being said, is I kind of tried to do it on my own after looking up little things here and there on the internet. And I didn't have too much of a problem with that. But after a while, it actually started to become just a little boring. So what I wound up doing was I would look on YouTube, shiny Pokemon. So I started watching people's videos, and their videos were interesting, and I liked them, and I thumbed them up. The first person I actually came across was the Underdog 2020. Clay is a very nice guy. I've spoken to him once or twice. And what wound up happening was he was shiny hunting certain Pokemon that I would like. For example, my Articuno. I definitely went almost 15,000 encounters for this Articuno, but I watched his video over and over and over again just to give myself a little bit of a, encouragement, because I knew it was difficult to do something for over 8,000 odds. So, with that being said, I just started watching videos on certain Pokemon that I wanted. So then, from this point, I'm watching some of Clay's videos, and I don't have a problem with them, obviously, but after a while, I start to branch off. No big deal. That's when I ran into SMK. Now, I have to say, he's a good dude. Not only is he good, but he's actually really funny. So what ended up happening was I started watching him. And anytime I watched a video, same thing with Clay, I'd give him a thumbs up because I liked the video. Then after a while, I heard him keep saying, you know, you can always watch me on Twitch. I was like, alright. Never heard of that before, whatever that is. Kind of a funny name, too, Twitch. Like, okay. So I started watching these videos, and the more I kept hearing Twitch, 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 it kind of got me a little intrigued. That's when I found out that people actually live stream this stuff, and I thought, that's really cool. So, upon doing that, I kept watching his videos, still never went on Twitch yet, and just kept watching his YouTube videos, because like, oh, that's easy. I mean, I could go to the website, but I don't know when he's on, when he's not going to be on, so I'll just, you know, watch the videos whenever I can. So now, from this point, obviously I like SMK, just like Clay, I don't have a problem, but I start branching off again, because I want to see other people's videos, because I'm very curious at this point. So that's when I actually ran into A-Drive's videos. And I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. You know, he has a good shiny record, he has a whole bunch of shinies, like he's doing cool things. So I was like, that's awesome. So at this point, everyone was talking about, you know, if you're going to be a shiny hunter, you have to have proof. I was like, what more proof do you need than the fact that you got the shiny? You can clearly show it off, you can show your friends, no big deal. That's where I found out that is a big deal, because obviously people hack. Now, I don't have a problem with people hacking. If that's what you want to do, that's your own thing. Just don't mess with my stuff. Don't hack my stuff, don't... As long as you don't mess with me or what I'm doing, that's fine. And don't use your hacked Pokemon for battling. That's just another thing that I have. But that's just me when it comes down to it. So, what winds up happening is I started watching A-Drive's videos. And I have to say, A-Drive's an awesome dude too. He's very fun, he interacts with everyone, he's very quirky, he's very sarcastic. But all in all, he's a really good dude. So now, upon watching A-Drive's videos, same exact thing. Hey guys, don't forget to check me live on twitch.tv. I just kept hearing about it over and over and over again. I was like, you know what? I gotta check this out. I really do. I really have to check out what Twitch is all about. So, I made up a screen name, PokeFan for Life, 1990. And I was like, you know, let's check this out. Let's see what the whole hubbub's about. Let's see how interesting this really is. So I started watching, and the first person that I actually ran across was actually A-Drive. So I was like, alright, I'll watch his videos for a little bit, or his live stream rather. And I was watching him, I was like, oh, this looks like a lot of fun. I would love to do something like this. Like, this totally looks awesome. So I thought about it, and I was like, there's no way I could do it. There's no way I can be like these guys. There's no way that I can, you know, sit on a computer and stream and talk to people. It's just not going to work out well. So my next step was, since I do have to prove that I am a shiny hunter, I need proof of the shiny, I'll start Instagram and I'll take pictures of every shiny Pokemon that I get. So at this point, I am now proceeding with Instagram, and I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. So what I'm doing on my Instagram is I'm taking pictures of any shinies that I catch. I'm doing Dex Nav, chain fishing, surf nav, cave nav, anything. Basically anything just to try and get the shiny Pokemon that I'm looking for. And so far I'm having a blast. Anytime I started getting down or disappointed that I wasn't getting a shiny that I was looking for, I'd go on YouTube and type in specifically, for example, shiny Jigglypuff, and then I'd see all the YouTube videos pop up for any of the shiny Jigglypuffs. And I would just watch them just to give me a little bit of oomph to want to keep going, because sometimes I would get disappointed in the hunts. But once again, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. Honestly, shiny hunting is boring. You need something. So I figured with the Instagram, that would keep me entertained, and the YouTube would keep me entertained enough to want to, just push on with it, just to... Because there's nothing better than actually seeing the sparkles and, hearing it, and it's just awesome, but it's just so boring. So now on top of this, now I'm watching Twitch. So I go on almost every single day, and I'm looking for either A-Drive, SMK, Clay, anyone. Just anyone that I know because I've seen their videos and I like them. I start branching off over there, and I'm finding other people like Galactic Elliot and, all these other people. And at this point, I'm just having a blast. I think it's really cool, and I give these people the utmost respect for wanting to go out and do something like this, because I've always kept Pokemon, for the most part, to myself, and it was kind of like a secret, like a thing just for me, but I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I didn't want to get made fun of, because, Pokemon's lame, and it's just not cool, so... I just kept it to myself, and I said, wow, these people are really, in a sense, putting themselves out there, and, they're, in a sense, having a great time doing something like this, with not worrying about what people think, or what people say, or if people are going to troll them, and I really looked up to them at this point in time, because I was like, I know I could never do something like that. Sure, I have Instagram, but it doesn't have my name on it, it doesn't have a picture of me, there's nothing. There is nothing about me on it, so I figured for the most part it was still, in a sense, a secret. So now, I'm thinking, alright, I'm curious. How many shiny Pokemon can I really get in a year? So I set my goal to about 100, and I really wanted to see how far that I could take it. So almost every single day, as much as I could, and at this point I already had my son, at this point I'm like, you know what? Let me see how many Pokemon can I get? How many shiny Pokemon can I get in 1 year? I'm very curious. So, I really put myself out to the test on that. I was like, I'm going to do as much hunting as I can, and see what I can get done. And I don't have really a specific order. In the beginning I did. I was like, oh, I totally just want to go after, Gen 1. I want to do it all in order. So I started hatching eggs, and I started doing Dex Navs, and after a while I was like, I'm going to do other ones, because, I think it'd be a lot of fun to go after some legendaries, because Oraz was out at this point. So I went after some legendaries, and I thought it was cool. And around this time, I started to slow up, because one of the last Pokemon that I got when I started to slow up was actually Ho-Oh. And unfortunately, at this point in time, I got bad news from my family. So, the bad news was, my dad comes over to me, and he tells me that my grandfather has cancer. It was his father. They said, he's okay for right now, but they're not sure if they're going to be able to stop it, so we just have to wait and see. My grandfather was literally my best friend. Me and my grandfather did almost everything together. I used to spend almost every weekend at my grandparents' house because I just loved being around them. They were very important to me, and I loved them very much. So when I found out that he got cancer, I didn't brush it off, but I kind of did. I was like, it's okay, he might be fine, he might be able to fight through this, everything will be okay. So I tried to have a positive outlook on it. So what I wound up doing is I started to spend every single Sunday that I had off from work to go hang out with my grandfather. I would also see my grandmother. We would go out for breakfast, or rather, we would have breakfast there. My dad would always bring bagels. So every other day, because the way my working schedule worked is I rotated and I saw him every other Sunday. So because I was off every other Sunday, that's when I went to see him. So, with nothing being too concrete at this point, with my grandfather being sick, we don't know if, they're going to be able to get it under control, if everything's going to be fine with him. In a sense, I kind of just brushed it off. I was like, you know what, to get my mind off of it, let me shiny hunt. So, what I decided to do is, because I still wanted to aim for having as many shinies as I possibly could in 1 year, I asked a couple of my friends if I can borrow their DS. They said no problem. So I was literally at one point hunting on 5 different DSs. 5 of them. Like, I went crazy. So I started doing that, and I, tried to kind of just separate myself from everything because of the current situation at hand with my grandfather and with him being sick. So, I'm just shiny hunting, doing my own thing, I would still go and see my grandfather and whatnot. And then, he started to decline really, really bad. And it was difficult. It was difficult to watch, but at this point he was still at home. He was still trying to get treatments and everything like that, so I just wanted to be there to support him. But nothing was too terrible at this point. It was just a little bit of a decline. So I'm now shiny hunting. I'm also now concerned about my grandfather. I'm thinking about him almost every single day, and I'm trying to do things to not think about him because I'm so upset about the situation. But I'm like, this is a reality. This is something that I kind of have to deal with because my grandfather is getting sick. Now, at this point in time, he went to the hospital for a little bit. They said maybe we'll give him a blood transfusion and everything will be okay for this time being, to kind of, still keep him at home and perked up and everything like that. And I was like, okay, so that's good. That's a positive thing right there. Maybe, good things will come from this point. So the VA hospital is doing everything that they can to help him out. The oncologist is doing everything that he can possibly do to help out. So the only thing that we can really do is kind of be there for him. Luckily, a couple days later, he was released from the hospital, and he went home again. So, from that point, I'm a little relieved because now he's home. And, with him being home, it was just a good sign. It made me feel good. It made me feel comfortable. So now, at this point, my grandfather is home, feeling a little relieved, even though we still have no idea what's really going to happen with him. So I start shiny hunting, and I'm like, oh, it's almost my 1 year anniversary. I was like, I never kept track. Let me see how many shinies I have. And at this point, I am so close to 200 shinies. And I was like, wow, I really grinded that out in almost a year. 200 shinies in a year? Like, that's pretty cool. So I'm still shiny hunting. I'm doing everything that I can to try and get to that point. And by the time I hit my 1 year anniversary, my grandfather took a turn for the worst, sadly. So what I would do is I would go to work, go visit him at the hospital, and I would sit by his side for as long as that I mentally could and everything else, because he was just so bad. And, like, you can tell that it was really, that the cancer, sadly, at this point, was really eating away at him. And it was difficult So I did what I could mentally, and I could do anything for him. I just wanted to be by him as much as I could possibly be by him, because I loved my grandfather. He was such an amazing person, and he was basically like a second dad. So at this point, I'm past my 1-year anniversary, and I hit 200 shinies, which I'm really excited about. So at this point, I'm like, you know what, I want to hunt something for my grandfather in a sense, and I figured one of the best Pokemon that I could ever go after would be Mewtwo. I've always liked Mewtwo. I like the way that he looks, I like his shiny form, and to me, he's just such a strong Pokemon. And because he was one of my favorites, and with my grandfather being as sick as he was, I was like, okay, you know what, I'll definitely make this, this hunt basically for him. So I started shiny hunting it, and then with 2 DSs, and around, I think it was 9,000 something, I got the Pokemon, and I was really excited about it. And I was like, this is so cool, this is so awesome. I couldn't ask for, such a cooler mon to shine when it did. So I was really, all pumped for it. And then, sadly, a couple of days later, that's when I found out my grandfather had passed at this point. So I was very upset, and obviously I stopped shiny hunting for a little bit because of how upset I was with the funeral coming up. It was difficult. So, obviously at this rate, I'm feeling really down. I just lost my grandfather, so I'm very depressed at this point. I don't really know what to do with myself, and I think, what can I do to make myself feel better? And I couldn't make myself feel better because I was very upset about the whole situation. I was upset that I lost my grandfather, my best friend, my second dad, basically. I couldn't really cope with what was going on because of how upset I was, but at the same time, happy that he was gone in a sense, because no more pain, no more medication, no more suffering. But it was still very hard to let him go. So at this point, I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm so upset. The only thing I really have is shiny hunting. I do have my son and my family, which was keeping me kind of entertained for the time being. And then I thought about it, and something really interesting struck my mind. And I thought, well, why don't I do it? See if we can give it a go. So now, this idea that I have in my head, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll totally do something like this. But then I thought about it, and I was like, it's stupid. No one's gonna care. No one would even bother looking at me. My idea's stupid. I'm just gonna not do it. So, a couple of days goes by, some time goes by, and I'm thinking about this really, really hard, and I'm like, could this be something I can do? Could it be something I can't do? And we're at my friend's house, and it's New Year's Eve, and we're all hanging out, we're all having a good time, and I'm thinking about what I want to do really, really, really bad. I'm like, do I want to do it? I'm like, probably not, I don't know. And right before the ball drops, I'm still thinking about it. I look to Carrie Ann, I give her a kiss because it's New Year's, and that's what New Year's couples do. And I look at her, and she smiled at me, and she goes, are you okay? I was like, I'm alright. She goes, you're kind of quiet. And I'm like, just upset about my grandfather and everything like that, and I'm just thinking about something. And she goes, alright, that's fine. And I'm still thinking about this idea, and probably about 2 minutes after the ball drops, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stream on Twitch. And, well, you guys are actually watching somebody that decided to pursue his dream and go on twitch.tv/lifestylegaming90. But at that point in time, when I wanted to do it, I was like, where do I start? So, beforehand, I actually started talking to SMK, trying to get some ideas of, how to start out, what to do, how I can do it, and he really helped me along the way. So, January 2nd, 2017, I got everything that I needed. I got a laptop, I got a camcorder, I did everything that I had to do, and I wound up starting to stream on Twitch. Actually, I apologize. I did not have my laptop at this point. I got my laptop that I have now probably a week later or so. I was using my wife's laptop at the time because she also has a gaming laptop because she plays a lot of WoW. But I started doing it, and here I am today. I have to say I have a lot of fun doing it, and that should be your main goal when it comes to it, is just having a lot of fun. If you want to do it, and this is something you want to pursue, I highly recommend that as long as you want to do it for the fun and just to talk to people and meet new people like I did, you'll actually really like doing it, and you'll have a blast because that's going to be your focus, is just having fun. So, with everything being said, my grandfather passing away, me wanting to become a streamer, me having a goal, a mindset, and everything, even though I was upset with my grandfather passing away, I felt that with that coming, it actually kind of motivated me more to be a streamer, and he's kind of, in my opinion, always here when I stream and when I'm trying to do something new, whether it's new content or anything like that, and I thank him for being here and wanting to help me and wanting to be by my side through all of this. But I guess if I'm gonna send a message to you guys, and kind of how I feel about you guys and some of the things that I would recommend as far as this, whole situation or the video that I'm doing right now, is don't let your dreams just be dreams. And I know that sounds corny, but if you really want to do something, or you have something that you want to try out, I say go for it. I mean, obviously within reason. I'm a father and a professional dog groomer and a streamer, and I have to make it all fit into one. So yeah, guys, that's my advice to you. Don't stop trying. Keep going for it. Nothing is too far out of your reach as long as you make sure that you're secure and you're doing everything you can to get to where you want to be. Life is just way too short. It's too short, so you really have to make the best of it that you possibly can. Try new things, put yourself out there, and if you do have a goal for something that you want to do, attempt it. Don't just push it under the rug. Don't let people tell you can't do it. Just give it a try, because the worst that's going to happen is you'll fail, but you'll learn from your failure, and you'll learn how to make it just a little bit better next time. Don't beat yourself up. Just try. There's no harm in trying. And don't get yourself down. So yeah, guys, just give it a try. Put yourself out there a little bit. Don't just tell yourself that you can't do it. Giving it a try is absolutely worth it, and you should do something like that for yourself. If it's not for anybody else, which it shouldn't be, do it for yourself to make yourself happy. I mean, like I said, I never thought I'd be a streamer, and I am. I kind of feel like I'm in the same category as SMK or A-Drive or anybody else that streams. I might not have the viewers, but I'm okay with that because, like I said previously, I'm having fun, and that is all that matters, is that I'm having fun, I'm having a blast doing it, I get to talk to people, I get to meet new people, people come and hang out. It's just such a fun experience, and I'm very happy that I decided to do something like this. And I have to say, I think it is 1,000% worth it. It's one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. It really is. It was such a good idea. And I could not be any happier with my decision. So yeah, that's a little bit of my background of how I became a streamer. I really enjoy it. I have a lot of fun doing it. I have a lot of fun talking to you guys and talking to new people. And if you guys are just watching this on YouTube, you're more than welcome to come drop by and hang out. I am a family-friendly streamer, and I also promote, good vibes, because that's all we really need in life. We don't need negativity. Don't ever feel like you'll be judged on my stream, because you won't. We do bust chops a little bit, so brace yourself for that. But obviously, if you don't want it to be done to you, we won't. But I hope to see some new faces there, or new names rather, because I think it'd be pretty cool. Be pretty cool. Some cool stuff. And also, don't ever be afraid to talk either. You're more than welcome to talk. You can always leave a comment down in the comment section too. I'll always reach out to you guys as well. So yeah, that's just my advice to you guys. I hope maybe I helped you guys, make some sort of decision that you were kind of pushing off of. I hope I was able to help you guys in some way. But yeah. Let me know in the comment section below if I actually helped you, because I would like to know if I actually reached out to somebody. It's one of my biggest things too. I like to know if I reached out to people in a positive way, and it's always good. It's always good to reach out to somebody in a positive manner. I believe that nobody should feel alone or unloved or uncared about, and I feel that if you guys have something that you want to do, you should at least try it. It's worth it to try it. Don't just sit down and take no you can't for an answer, because you won't know until you actually try. And trying is very important. So, I have to say, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. To be honest, I had an absolute blast making this video. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm probably going to do something like this again when it comes to all the other generations, so I'll probably continue doing something like this. Because like I said, I had an absolute blast doing this. I had a blast also telling you about, my experiences and why I started doing this and what made me want to do it. I'm glad I was able to give you guys a little insight into my life. I thought that was kind of cool. So, yeah, this has been such a cool experience. It's been such a fun little ride so far. I absolutely enjoy being a Twitch streamer. I also really enjoy Pokemon, obviously, so what could be a better thing than to shiny hunt alongside with a good, great bunch of people. So, yeah, guys, that's almost it. And we have a little more to show you. And then, that's going to be it for Gen 1. You all got to witness all of my Gen 1 shinies. One of the coolest accomplishments that I have to say that I was able to do. I did it right at my 2-year anniversary, which is also really cool. One of my biggest accomplishments for doing Gen 1 had to have been the birds, and for Mewtwo, simply because of the fact I did those in the Soul Silver and Heart Gold, so cool stuff there. And here comes, after this, here comes the first bird. Articuno was such a pain because he took me almost 15,000 soft resets. That was before I was a streamer, so no video on that. So, and this is where the video is actually coming to close. I'm excited because you guys are going to see Mewtwo, which was named after my grandfather who passed away. But, like I said, guys, if you have a goal, try and go for it. It's worth it to try. It's important to try. You never want to sit there and wonder what if, because at least if you try, you can say that you tried. It doesn't ever hurt to try. You know, because if you try and you succeed, it's gonna be such a good feeling. You should never limit yourself in any way, shape, or form, because you should really always try and strive. Always try and do better. Don't settle. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you feel awesome. Because, all in all, to be completely honest, you really never know when you might just shine. Alright guys, unfortunately that's it for me. And like always, happy hunting. Peace.